Good morning. I guess I got cut off, so we will restart. I hope you're enjoying your beautiful summer morning. Challah, the Jewish food most spoken about, most popular, most famous. How often do you sit around the Shabbos dinner or just with friends and you're talking about where do you get the best challah? Is it the butchery? Is it Andrews? Is it Blackers? Is it Rosenfeld's? Is it Sherillan's? But of course, anyone that's been to Chestnut Hill and anyone that knows us knows that the best challah is made by Gumi, with the onions on the bottom and the everything but the bagel spice on the top, fresh, real, authentic. In fact, any homemade challah is the best. But what is challah? Why are we so fixated on this challah? So we all know that the word challah means a loaf, right? It's a simple meaning of a challah. And it literally means a loaf of bread. But when you dig a little deeper, the word challah has two words in it. Chet and lamed is chol, and hey stands for Hashem. Chol means mundane, materialistic. And in this week's Torah portion, we read about the challah, because the idea of challah is to remind us always that we need to infuse the materialistic with godliness. We need to imbue the mundane with spirituality. You see, the mitzvah of challah we read about in this week's Torah portion tells us that every time we make challah, we make bread, we take a portion and we give it to the Kohen. We give it to the priest, reminding us that before we eat for ourselves, we think about those who need, who are less fortunate than us, who might not have. And perhaps, maybe, that's why we braid our challah. There's 3 braids, because we recognize that it's all intertwined. When I eat my challah, I braid it by helping someone else. And when I help the Kohen, at the same time, I remember that I need to imbue my godly, my mundane, my materialism with godliness, with spirituality. If you ever been to our Shabbos table, I hope you have. If not, we definitely should do it. You know that I always speak about the challah at the tables. We have 2 chalot, and we cover them. But why 2? I mean, we use sometimes 6 or 8 challahs at a Shabbos dinner, but why do we always put 2 under the table? And the answer is because we want to remember the manna that God gave us, the Jewish people in the desert. You see, because when the Jews were in the desert, the manna fell from heaven. And on Friday, God gave them 2, not 1. And why do we want to remember it? Because we live in a materialistic world, and you need to work 6 days a week, you shall work. But we always have to remember, at the end of the day, what our job in this world is. Why do we work? We work to infuse Shabbos into the rest of the week, to bring spirituality, godliness, kindness, holiness into the materialism of this world. And that's the idea of challah. And that's why we braid it, to infuse those together. You know, in the 22 years that I'm married, I can remember a handful of Shabboses that Gurney didn't bake challah. Every Friday, Gurney bakes at least a 5-pound bag, usually 10 to 20-pound bag, because 5 is the minimum you need to make the blessing of separating the challah to the Kohen. And every time she prays for someone else with many other women that bake, that God should bring healing, that God should give people children. Challah is such a powerful thing. And quite often, Gurney makes these groups, and they come together and they bake challah, if it's before Rosh Chodesh, or it's at another time. And I love the idea of baking challah, because you say, yeah, it's just a simple challah, but it's not. Because a woman bakes a challah, she comes home, she says, 1 second, if I'm having challah, I gotta have what to eat with it, I might as well make a meal. If I'm making a whole dinner, I might as well invite guests. If I'm making a dinner, I'm inviting guests, I might as well light Shabbos candles with them. And I might as well make kiddush. And then they have a delicious, inspirational, holy meal, and you hope that by the next morning they're inspired. They say, wait, maybe I should come to shul, taste the rabbi's challah, and hear the Torah reading. So one little challah makes a tremendous impact. You know, there's this old joke that on Shabbos, we never speak about money. But many times, Jews, when they want to speak about money or numbers, they don't want to say dollars, so they say challahs instead of dollars on Shabbos, not to use the word dollars. But the truth is that there's a lot of meaning to that. Because we have to infuse our dollars with challah. When you give charity, when you help someone else, when you remember the perspective that you're not working just to make money, but you're working to impact the world and to bring spirituality into the world, then you're doing challah. You're making the whole, the mundane, and you're infusing with godliness, with spirituality. So I encourage all of you to learn to make challah, to make the mitzvah. I'm sure Guni would be happy to teach you, and then definitely at some point you should taste our challah, and to celebrate Shabbos, and to listen from this mitzvah of taking the materialistic and infusing it with spirituality, with godliness, with holiness. Have an awesome day.